Well, new year. It is January 1st, 2022. New year indeed. A couple days ago, the province of Alberta decided to extend the winter break for an extra week due to rising cases in COVID. So, it's another week I don't get work. December and January are already pretty tough for work because of the extended amount of holidays for Christmas and such. And so that makes it pretty rough. But now we've got an extra week on top of that, and that makes it even more difficult. So that's cool beans. It is warmed up to -7 in Lethbridge, but that's because we've got like 60-kilometer winds going on. Classic. If you have a warmer weather in Lethbridge, it is because of wind, at least when it's already cold out and not summer. Chinooks for the win. If only they didn't blow so hard. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the wind. I'd rather it be -20 without the wind. I hate the wind so much. It's been pretty cold in Lethbridge, though. It's been pretty cold in a lot of places. Saskatchewan was still, at least Saskatoon was having a brutal cold snap when we were there. Anyway, a curious thing happened. I went to start my car, and I like auto start it to warm it up a bit, and then the alarm went off. I don't know why, but then just my alarm system decided that it needed to go off. So that's new. I've never had that happen before. It's pretty cool. Every time I start my car, I guess that might happen. I have no idea. It's really hard to say at this point, but it happened twice in a row. So yeah, I don't know what that is. It's a combination of the wind or something, and I don't know. I guess we'll find out. So, quick little thing. I picked up this Montana Cans Marble Effect spray from Art Placement when I was in Saskatoon with Rebecca and Ren. And I didn't know how it would work. I thought, because I've used other things that are like crackling effects, not in a spray form, but just like acrylics and stuff, just like a brush on, and they never worked really well. And I thought that's what this was going to be like. You just spray it, and then it dries, and it kind of crackles and creates like a marble effect. But that's not it at all. You definitely need to apply it strategically, but it kind of just looks like Spider-Man stuff. Like it just looks like spiderweb to me, the way that it comes out. It's kind of cool though. I'm going to play with it a little more. I wish that I had put like gold or something on this. This was just to test it. I mean, I'm going to paint over it right away here. But yeah, I just wanted something white to test on. And it's actually pretty cool. And you can actually change the black part. You can twist it so it's vertical instead of horizontal if you want, or whatever. But yeah, that's that. Marble Effect from Montana Cans. Yeah, kind of cool. Heading down to the studio, get a couple hours in, not long today. I'm planning to be there for a longer day tomorrow, but just stopping in. It's really cold. I realized I haven't done much vlogging this week. Part of the reason is because I haven't had work. I've been spending more time with Rebecca, and been at the studio a little more. Haven't been incredibly productive, but feel still good about what I've been doing. Anyway, yeah, it's -25 right now. It is 11:45 in the morning. It is projected to be -36 tonight at like 10 o'clock. Real feel being -38. I don't know how much colder it's going to get. I didn't check what it would be like after midnight, but yeah, pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. If you know Alexis on Fire well enough, and you know the album Crisis, that's what this winter feels like. There's been a couple times where I've identified with that that album, or specifically songs like, well, I think it's Crisis, actually. Or, yeah, I'm just thinking of the year 1977. But yeah, it's pretty messed up out here. It is pretty bad. Other places like Saskatchewan are not much better off, in the prairies and elsewhere. But yeah, winter 2022 is brutal. It was pretty cold when we were in Saskatoon, but then we came back here and it was nice for like a day or two, and then this happened, and it's colder here than it was when we were there for the most part. So yeah, it's just a brutal winter. It's funny because I had seen a post talk about how it was they were tracking how Alberta's electricity is like we've used more electricity. Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. Well, I almost hit that person, so that's fun. Do I include it in the vlog or not? I say so. Yeah. One reason why I'm actually vlogging this way rather than showing myself is for reasons like that, for safety. I got both hands on the wheel and I'm focused on the road rather than the camera focusing on me, because that was weird. And in times like these especially, unsafe for long-term recording. So, oh, but then I've got like license plates to blur out and junk. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's what happens when people just jaywalk randomly without looking and they don't care about their own lives. That's what happens. I'm glad that I was aware enough to avoid that, because that would have not been good. Not been good at all. Cool. Anyway, I saw somewhere the stat about how Alberta's used more electricity this year than ever before, and I was like, well, yeah, one, there's more people now than ever, and it's incredibly cold. So, of course, people who have the means to heat their homes are going to do that. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, that's that. Yep, that was cool. Sorry, I'm still getting over the almost hitting somebody thing. So, quick reminder, I've been oversaturating my channel and podcast with reviews, because right now I've got time to do them. Just catching up on a bunch of things that, if I was doing reviews in this format back when I had read or watched those things, I would have done them then, but it just occurred to me while I was trying to refine my reviewing process that I could go back and review those things, because I would have done them then anyway. So that's why there's so many reviews, and I have time right now to catch up with school not being in session, but that's coming to an end soon, I hope, and hopefully I'll be able to get back to work and do my thing. Alright, I wanted to tell you a little bit about Reading Glasses Challenge 2021. I mentioned it in the vlog before that I was going to do it. It's the first year I'm doing the Reading Glasses Challenge. I just started listening to that podcast just a little over a year ago. My friend really got me into it, and I enjoy it a lot. And anyway, they have this challenge that they do annually, and there's like 5 books to read and like 5 reading tasks. So I'm going to go through real quick what I did. I'm not going to review the books because I've been doing a bunch of reviews on my channel. Some of those I've already reviewed when I read them, and some of them I didn't review at the time, and I've been catching up and reviewing them now, which is what I just explained beforehand anyway. So, Reading Glasses Challenge 2021. In next week's vlog, I'm going to talk about Reading Glasses Challenge 2022, because they have just put up their podcast for that just a couple hours ago. I haven't listened to it yet, where they're going to reveal, I guess, what the new challenges are, and I'm excited to do them, because I definitely enjoyed doing the challenge this year, and I'll tell you more about why. So, books to read. A banned book. They requested a banned book. It's pretty open, so was it internationally, nationally? It could be in your town or in your school or something. So I chose to go. I found it on Wikipedia, like books that had been banned in Canada. Lolita was one of them, And so I already had that book on my shelf. I was like, hey, I'll read Lolita. I wanted to do it at some point anyway. So, yeah, Lolita, I read that for the banned book, a poetry collection. So I read Atticus, one of his poetry collections. I don't remember what it was called now. The Dark Between Stars, I think. I reviewed that already, so you can check that out. I haven't reviewed Lolita yet, but that'll be up soon. Anyway, but yeah, I read Atticus's poetry collection. A micro history, so that review is up already as well. The Secret Lives of Color is what I read. Really, just yeah, it's a micro history. I didn't know what a micro history was at the time, but it's basically a book that focuses on a very specific history. So the way that I explain it is like you could have a book that is like about mountain bikes. Like this is how mountain bikes came to be. This is the history of mountain bikes and the present and whatever. That is different than a history book about transportation that includes bikes, or about bikes in general. Like mountain bikes are very specific and focused, or if it was a BMX bike or whatever, right? So it's really in there. So I call The Secret Lives of Color a micro history because it gives you the history on a bunch of like hundreds of very specific colors and talks about color as a whole, but it's like 2 to 3 pages on average dedicated to very specific colors, how they came to be. Yeah, so that's a micro history. Reading a book by an Aboriginal author. So I read Green Grass Running Water by Thomas King. I haven't put that review up yet, haven't done it yet, but it was actually a textbook that I was assigned in my Literary Uses of Mythology course in university. I never read the book then, but I had the book on my shelf. So that was the book I decided to read for that. And then the last one of the books to read was a library recommendation. So I actually just went on the Lethbridge Public Library website, and they have like staff picks or like staff recommendations that change. I don't know how often they change them, but there's just a whole list there. So I read If It Bleeds by Stephen King, which was one of, at that point, it was his newest short story collection. Just had like 4 short stories, novellas in there. And so I read that. That one was already on my shelf as well. I actually didn't have to buy any new books for this. I just had them all already. So those were the 5 books to read. Along with a library recommendation. Again, like some of these things you can kind of do your own way. So like my friend actually got a librarian that in his library in Burnaby, in BC, they like will take in your information and be like, what kind of stuff do you like? And they'll like tailor like recommendations to you, like online or in person, but this is online, but in like real time. And yeah, so you can do it a bunch of different ways. But those are the 5 books to read. Now the book tasks, one was figuring out your wheelhouse. This one was really, really hard for me, and I feel like it's still a work in progress. But so your wheelhouse is just like, what kind of books are you just down to read? If someone says, hey, this book has this and this and this in it, and you're just like, yep, I'm reading it. Right now, I would say my wheelhouse is Stephen King. Like, if it's a Stephen King book, I'll just read it. Like, I'll just read it. Like, you don't have to tell me anything about, I'll read it. Like, so that's kind of where I'm at for my wheelhouse. It was really difficult for me. And it's still a work in progress because I feel like, I don't know if anyone's ever had an author be their wheelhouse or, it's been more of like a genre or a very specific kind of something in that genre. Attend a virtual book event. Because of COVID stuff, there's been a lot more virtual book events. So I did attend one that was, again, put on through the Lethbridge Public Library. They had an author on there, and it was like a streaming event, so I attended that. They're an author from Calgary. I forget their name right now. Review or boost a local bookstore, which I did. Review a book by a author who is a person of color. So I decided to not use my Aboriginal author Thomas King as a person of color, but rather read a different book, because I had a book I wanted to read anyway called Pimp, which is an autobiography or memoir by Iceberg Slim. So that was I ended up reviewing it after I read it. So yeah, that was my person of color review. And then the last book task was get rid of a book. So again, it's pretty broad. Like you could give it away, you could gift it, You could just leave it on the subway. You could put it in a little library, and that's what I did. I've been doing the little library exchange thing. So I got rid of a book that way. Those were the 5 books to read and the 5 book tasks. Like I said, next week I will let you know about the reading glasses challenge for 2022. I don't know anything about it yet. I'm going to listen to that podcast probably today or the next couple of days and then relay that information to you. But you can just go on Reading Glasses. They've got social media, their Instagram and Facebook and stuff, but also obviously the podcast. So you can check out their podcast. I'm really behind on it, so I have to skip ahead just to hear what the reading challenge is this year. But I'm really excited about it. So that's the thing. This pushed me to read some things. This pushed me to read some things that I wouldn't have read yet, just because they were very niche things. It was like read a microhistory. It was like, well, I wasn't planning on reading that book yet, or that's the thing. Green Grass, Running Water. It's been sitting on my shelf for years. I didn't read it when I was supposed to in university, and I was like, oh, I need to read a book by an Aboriginal author. What do I have on my shelf? Let's look there first. And I only had about 3 or 4 Aboriginal authors on my shelf that I'm aware of. So I was like, hey, this is the one. Anyway, yeah, it just pushed me to read some stuff that I wouldn't have read this year, and I thought it was cool. And it was a cool exercise to figure out my wheelhouse. Anyway, I'm excited to see what they have for this year. With that, though, I think I'm just going to cap off the vlog right there, and we will see you on another time.